Hello, and welcome back to All About Sales, the podcast where we decode what really works in today's world of selling. I'm your host, Shiva Chiluveru, and today we are going to dive into the hard truth why most salespeople fail. Let's be honest, we all see it happening. Someone starts with fire in their eyes, a target in to crush, and 3 months later, they are burnt out, blaming the market or questioning if sales is even for them. But what really causes the drop? Is it the mindset or the lack of training or maybe the way sale itself has evolved? To unpack all this, I've invited Shivadhar Soma. So allow me to introduce Shivadhar Soma. Shivadhar Soma is a business leader with over 2 decades of experience in driving growth, strategy, and transformation across technology, SaaS, and emerging industries. From leading multi-dollar P&Ls to mentoring startups and helping organizations scale through innovation, Shivdar brings a unique blend of strategic insight and human understanding to business. He's been a COO, growth strategist, and consultant, and his passion lies in exploring how psychology, behavior, and storytelling shape the way people buy, build trust, and make decisions. Hello and welcome, Shivada.
Hey, hi, Shiva. How you guys? How you doing?
Great, great. It's great to have you on this podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Yeah, same here.
So,
So, in today's episode, he will share his perspective on the psychology of sales, what make really makes everybody, what really makes buyers say yes, and how modern selling is more about connection, emotion, and authenticity than just persuasion. Together, we will dig into the hidden traps, the patterns that lead to failure, and the proven ways to turn it all around. So, grab your coffee and let's talk about what separates the 1% from everyone else. So, are we ready to continue, Shivda?
yeah, we're all good. Shiva, let's begin.
Great, great. So, my first question for you is why do you think most sales people fail?
Oh, okay. That's a good one. See, sales is all about psychology, especially if you're looking at large sales or complex sales. You're dealing with human behavior. So if you ask me, what really happens, to these sales guys is, most of these sales guys actually, rush into pitching the products early in the day. So that one silver bullet, why sales guys fail is because, they start selling even before understanding the requirement. So the psychology of selling is all about, getting your emotional triggers right. You have to, build trust, persuasion, and only then you actually dwell into the product or the solution. So there's a lot of sales or selling that should happen even before the sale starts, or even before the sales cycle starts. And if you miss out, this aspect of selling, that's where most of the sales guys fail cracking bigger deals. They might be fantastic when it comes to smaller sales or day-to-day sales, but the large sales or the complex sales requires a lot more behavioral aspect of selling.
Great, great. So, is it safe to say that selling is more about psychology and behavior of the salesperson?
Definitely, it is, because otherwise, sales is very straightforward. You approach a client, you show the product, the client is okay with the product, and you cut the check, or the client cuts the check, and you deliver the product. Which most often not than not, that's not how real life sales happen.
Great, great. So you mentioned about salespeople jumping into pitching their product or services. So what do you think, is that the misconception which is there in the salespeople which allows them to start pitching directly, or are they not say trained well?
So it's not about, see, you need to pitch, you need to be trained, all these things, come on the way. So, when we see, the sales process, a lot of guys expect it to be like, Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, fine, let's, go pick up the
Right.
phone, close, talk to the client and close the deal. No, that's not how it is, right? It's almost like finding Nemo. You have to keep swimming, till you hit, hit the bar, or hit the target. So it is lot to do with perseverance, and it's got a lot to do with patience. Okay,
Hmm.
because see, many salespeople think that you have to be there, present, talk, convince the customer, and pick up the deal, or crack the deal. But that's not how it is. The most important aspect for any sales guy is to listen. So you have to listen to the client, understand what the client requires, and only then you open your cards. And this is again one of the key aspects that many sales guys miss out in the rush of closing target, or in the rush of quarter end pressure. They just go and sit with the sit with the client, tell them that, boss, this is the situation, this is what I want to do, this is the product I have, and you anyway have the requirement, so why don't we close the deal. So most often than not, that's not how sales closures happen.
It's interesting that you have mentioned, listening is one of the key factor. I think we had this another episode, second episode in with Amita Parwal about the art of listening. She was also mentioning the same thing. So, is it safe to understand that sales is more about the mindset rather than the skills of a salesperson?
It's actually mindset with emotion. So mindset actually gets you to the client, but what it is the emotion that actually gets a client buy or purchase the product or the service. So it is a combination of mindset and the emotion, but you need to have the right mindset to bring the right emotion which the client is expecting you to create.
Great, great. So allow me to ask you one more question also. So when we are talking about mindset and emotions of the salesperson, right? Do you think lack of clarity in understanding your target audience, understanding your ideal customer, creating your ideal customer profile would lead to burnout of the sales professional?
Yeah, absolutely. See,
Mm.
that's important, right? I mean, my ex-boss used to say that there's no point in running, like a African zombie.
Okay, okay.
You run, you do a lot of meetings, you spend a lot of time with the clients, you're actually on the move all the time. But why are the closures not happening? That is because you should also know where you're how are you spending your time. Do you know your client really well? So it's like
Mm.
fishing in a swimming pool, where you might spend all your day holding the fishing net, but you expect a fish to be caught. So it's as simple as that. You should first know your target audience, you should know the persona of the customer, you should then get into the need. So in large complex sales, there are various techniques. One of my favorite is spin model, which is SPIN, where you not only understand the situational aspects. I mean, you might see the client might say, I want the best cloud software in the world. Okay, but you should understand whether the client has internet facility in the first place. Okay, there's no point in pitching a cloud software to a client who doesn't have an internet or who doesn't understand internet. So it's as simple as that. I mean, this could be a crazy example, but it's almost like fishing in a swimming pool. So there is, you might burn the all your midnight oil, or you can wait there till the cows come home, but all your efforts will go waste. So you should definitely need to know, and this is one of the reasons for the morale to be down for most of the sales guys, because they end up burning out with poor performance and poor results. So that's definitely one of the key aspects that every sales guy should look into.
That's an interesting analogy of swimming in the pool. Would you elaborate, what is a spin model and how could, sales professionals can use it?
It's again a very matured technique that people have been using for last 30-40 years, where you first not so when you meet a client, I'm talking about an enterprise client or a corporate client, the client is always shy in explaining the requirements in toto, and it is our responsibility to get to the root cause of the problem, so that it is not just the peripheral solution that you sell. You actually sell the you have the ability to sell the complete solution. So for
Okay.
example, say let's say if a client is asking for say a particular ERP software. Okay, you first need to understand whether the ERP software is, is it coming from IT perspective or, or from the business? So for that, you need to, not only understand the situational, aspects or the, problematic aspects of the requirement, you get slightly deeper, which is implicit. So say, for example, if you don't have this software, okay, so currently, if the ERP solution is not available with them, what is that, they're losing? And what is the impact on the business that they have currently, or, they've been having over the last 6 months or 12 months for that matter? How is it affecting their performance or affecting their business? So
Mm.
let's assume if you don't have answers to this, your quotation will go in the evening saying, okay, this is the ERP solution that we have, and we charge, say, $100 per user per month, and if you have, say, 50 users, and this is the, this is how it is. Okay, imagine if you have answers to, the requirement in detail in terms of, what problem are they, are they solving, are they having right now, and how
Mm.
is this
Mm.
ERP going to help them sort out not just the, challenge that, but, they might say, boss, the company has a loss of X million dollars, for the reason, why they don't have a, decent ERP solution. All the business users have been using Excel sheet or, some traditional software for
Mm.
which the losses can be curbed. And your proposal, say from $50,000, can go up to $500,000. If you have this, you will be able to curate. So then, you'll start selling your professional services. You'll start selling your implementation services. Then, you'll start with business discovery services. So from one small product, you will be able to sell your entire platform or your complete portfolio of services if you're able to understand or get into the implicit, and with the implicit challenges, you get to know what are the explicit challenges, which is basically your need payoff challenges. So that is
Mm.
how this model has helped and crazy amount of salespeople over the last many decades. And this definitely is one of my best. And it doesn't need to be for only for very large clients or very large complex sales. Can be as simple as digging, probing to find out more details from the customer, and that is that's all you need to know if you have to, one, build relationship, and two, enhance your sales performance.
Great, great. That's a great insight, Shivdar. So, spin model is more about solving customers' problem rather than pushing your product. I think it's safe to
No,
say that, right? Yeah.
absolutely. You said it. You said it.
Great, great. So, have you noticed any specific habits which separates the top performers from the rest of the salespeople?
Okay. See, sales is, how should I put it? Sales is fun. Okay. Sales has to be played like a game. And if you get this into this mindset, or, if you have this attitude of selling, you would ace it. And one of the key aspects that is, which is my favorite, is follow up. Sales is
Okay.
nothing but follow up. And say, it's like oxygen. You just can't live without follow up in sales. And if the more oxygen you take, the longer distance you travel and the higher altitude you travel. That is how it is. And there is many sales gurus, including, people like Joe Girard or Zig Ziglar. The many people who've said, it takes about 8 to 10 times, or 8 to 10 follow-ups for any closure. And one of the reasons most of the sales guys fail is because they let go of the opportunity after 3 or 4 attempts, because they feel after third no from the client, they would decide that, okay, boss, this is a clear no from the client, which means they don't have requirement, and let me move on to the next lead or prospect. And which is also another reason why almost 82 to 85% of sales is closed by just 7 to 8% of sales guys. So that is the
Mm.
beauty of follow up. So if you look at if you see the numbers closely, only about 7 to 8% of sales guys actually travel all through your follow-ups, which is your 10th or 11th follow-up, where they close a deal. And they are the most successful because they know they understand the psychology of sales, they know the technique of sales, and they have the perseverance and the attitude to sell.
Interesting, interesting. I love the way you give analogies, like, you're talking about a game or like, waiting for the fish to fall in the net. Interesting take. So, do you really think like, product market fit really plays a role in sales?
See, product market fit, definitely, there is a product market fit, but I would say, that is from a marketing or a business side of things. For a sales guy, as long as, you are an ace sales guy, you should be able to sell anything under the sky. But yes, you can't, go on rowing, carrying a small ladle or a spoon and, try to, row upstream. So, definitely there is a product market fit, but it purely depends on how you position your product to the market. So the same market would have rejected your competitor, but adapt your product is only because of the story that you sell, the pain point that you solve, of that particular client or market. So as long as you make your product relevant, as long as you solve the pain point of the client, and as long as you understand the base issue of the client, as a sales guy, you can ace it.
Very nice, very nice. So when we are talking about the sales or like, other aspects of sales, one thing that pops up into my mind is a rejection. So do you have to say anything or like, how salespeople should handle rejection without being demotivated?
Oh yeah, so
Mm.
rejections and hearing a no from the client is extremely demotivating, and brings down the morale. And for that matter, maybe 3 decades back, people used to sell eureka forbes, knocking door to door, selling these machines. Hats off to
Right.
those guys.
Yeah.
Because the rejection that those guys have seen is probably next level, compared to what we see today. See, and that again, I'll probably pull some analogy for easy understanding, which again, great sales guys keep saying. So it's almost like your gym training. You have your repetitions in your gym. The number of repetitions that you have in the gym, each rep, okay, doesn't actually build your muscle the way, or probably it is actually not every rep that gives you a visible difference, but you have to make those reps continuously over a period of time, for the muscle to grow. So it's very
Right.
simple, and it's very close to that. The more rejections, the more scars that you have on your body, or in your career, the better you would be at it, the more experienced, and you'll be in a better position to handle your next rejection. And end of the day, that's what matters. The best of the best sales guys, they take no as an answer, like like a breeze. They hear a
Yeah.
no, and next moment they pick up the phone and talk to another client as if nothing has happened before.
Awesome, awesome. So the guys listening should like, be ready for more scars. Like Shivdar mentioned, take it as a breeze. So what do you think have you noticed any unconventional practice or do you suggest any unconventional practice that should help in improve in closing the deals?
So sales is very straightforward, probably much straightforward compared to other departments, like or operations or finance for that matter, because sales is all about building relationships, and to build relationships, you have to be transparent, and that's how
True.
you create that element of trust with the client. So if you have to build trust, the most unconventional practice that you should pick up is listening, because most sales guys think listening is boring, or probably they don't have the patience to even listen. But by listening, you actually understand the psyche of the customer, and number two, the customer is more interested to open up to a client, or to the sales guy who actually listens. So that probably is one of the most unconventional practice that I would recommend, or suggest, that listening is going to be one great tool that you can fit in your armor.
Super. So you suggest like being transparent and listening to your prospects. So you've already answered my the next follow-up question, which I wanted to ask you about building credibility with your prospects. So I think probably you would say the same thing, being if you want to build trust and credibility, be transparent and actively listen to what your prospects are saying.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And actually, probably you can add stories to your dialogues. Or see, customers always need something new. They want to get updated, through sales guys, because sales guys talk to various clients. They meet, different people across industries and across geographies. So interestingly, customers, would like to hear more stories from the sales guys. They're really not interested in products or features, because they're anyway there in your marketing material or your websites and other platforms. What they want to hear from you is those stories that are actually not told on your marketing website, or the other platforms. So probably those are little tidbits that you can open up, especially with a tough client, to gain interest, or to gain attention. And with that, definitely credibility comes in, because as you talk about how some other client of yours achieved X percentage of say performance, or Y cost savings, so and so forth. That is how you build credibility and you build trust with with your customers. Actually, who we call today as partners.
Right, right. It's been very insightful, Shivadhar, talking to you on various aspects of sales. So before we conclude, would you like to give one message to the every struggling salesperson listening out there?
Yeah, like I said, you have to enjoy the game. You have to have that attitude. Sales is real fun, it's super fun, because you get to meet different clients, you get to meet different scenarios, you get to face challenges that nobody else on this planet probably would be able to meet. So it's an opportunity for you to learn, for you to enjoy the journey. So if I have to put it in a very simple phrase, I would say, keep your heart in the game, without your ego, or, keeping your ego out of it. So that actually is the mantra, because you can't have egos showing, to your clients. That's,
Right, right.
as simple as that. You can have egos with anybody else except for your clients. So you can have all your egos inside the organization, but, with the client, you have to, keep your egos out, and you have to, keep your heart in the game. You have to really enjoy the journey of your sales, be it prospecting, or be it hunting, farming, closing, or key account management, complex sales, or consultative selling. Whatever it is, you have to enjoy. End of the day, it is the customer who is going to benefit. And keep that in mind, that you're doing all this for the sake of the customer, because unless the customer is convinced, or thoroughly satisfied, he is not going to write that check. Material of what? You could be the cheapest of the product, or you could be the best the technology provider, or you might be the market leader. For the customer, it doesn't matter. It is you. The customer is purchasing from the sales guy, and it is the sales guy's trust, that the customer is buying in, and he's actually signing the check for you. So you need to understand that, and play the game accordingly. That probably is my mantra, has been my mantra in sales so far.
Great, great. That's very powerful, wasn't it? So if there is one thing I hope you take away, it's this. Keep your heart in the game and enjoy the game. A huge thanks to Shivadhar Soma for sharing those incredible insights. Thank you, Shivadhar, for joining us on this episode.
Thank you, Shiva, and wonderful talking to you. really pleasure, on this podcast. It's a wonderful initiative, that you have taken, because sales actually is a science, is an art, that has actually, is losing, its charm. Thanks for, reviving that spark and the vibe, in the and making it alive. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, and nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much joining. I think it's incredibly insightful for listening to you. I hope I'll have you in another couple of episodes in the coming future. So, guys, if you have enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow All About Sales and share this episode with someone on your team who might need a little inspiration today. And remember, it's not about being best salesperson. It's about being the most trusted one. Thank you so much for joining and listening to us. See you next time.